The baseball world just exploded with news that could reshape the entire landscape of Major League Baseball, and at the center of it all stands the Los Angeles Dodgers, quietly positioning themselves for what could be the most calculated power move in franchise history. Cincinnati Reds superstar shortstop Elly De La Cruz has just turned down what would have been the largest contract extension in Reds history, and suddenly Dodger fans everywhere are seeing their wildest dreams inch closer to reality. Let's set the scene here. The Dodgers just officially welcomed Kyle Tucker to their already stacked roster at his opening press conference, with the contract going through and cementing yet another blockbuster acquisition for the boys in blue. Everyone thought the next domino to fall would be Brewers ace Freddie Peralta landing in Los Angeles, but plot twist, he ended up with the Mets instead. Even more interesting, Dodgers executive Andrew Friedman came out before that trade and casually dropped that they weren't actually looking for starting pitching anyway, completely contradicting all the reports swirling around. Classic Friedman misdirection, right? The man operates like a chess grandmaster while everyone else is playing checkers. But here's where things get absolutely fascinating. While the baseball universe was focused on pitching moves and Tucker's arrival, something much bigger was brewing in Cincinnati. Elly De La Cruz, the 24-year-old athletic phenom who makes highlight reels look routine, rejected a contract extension that would have blown past Joey Votto's 10-year, $225 million deal to become the richest in Cincinnati Reds history. Just let that sink in for a moment. The Reds, a franchise not exactly known for throwing around Yankees or Dodgers money, opened their vault and offered their young star a historic payday, and he said thanks, but no thanks. Now, if you know anything about baseball negotiations, you know there's one name that strikes fear into the hearts of general managers everywhere: Scott Boras. This man is Elly De La Cruz's agent, and Boras has built his entire legendary career on one simple philosophy: extensions are for suckers. Free agency is where the real money lives. Boras doesn't just dislike extensions, he absolutely despises them with every fiber of his being. Why would he let his client sign now for what might seem like a fortune when he could wait and potentially double that number by letting the market decide his value? It's classic Boras, and it's exactly why Dodgers fans should be getting very, very excited right now, right? Let's talk about what makes Elly De La Cruz such a tantalizing prospect. This kid is 24 years old, which in baseball terms means he's barely scratched the surface of his potential. Last season, he put up numbers that tell a complex but intriguing story. He hit 266 with 67 walks, showing decent plate discipline and patience. Sure, he struck out 181 times in 629 at-bats, which sounds like a lot, and it is, but you know what else he did? He smashed 22 home runs, drove in 86 runs, and swiped 37 stolen bases. That combination of power and speed is extraordinarily rare in today's game. But here's the thing that has scouts, analysts, and fans salivating. De La Cruz's raw tools are absolutely off the charts. We're talking about a player whose physical abilities are compared to video game attributes maxed out to 99. His base running isn't just good, it's elite. His arm strength from shortstop, cannon level, his bat speed, lightning quick. When you look at the underlying metrics on Baseball Savant, they're not eye-popping yet, but they show improvement every single season. And that trajectory is what has everyone talking about his what-if potential. The comparison has been made to NFL quarterback Justin Herbert, and it's actually pretty apt. Herbert has all the physical tools you could ever want in a quarterback, all the arm talent and athleticism, but the production and wins haven't quite matched the hype yet. Elly De La Cruz is baseball's version of that same phenomenon. The athleticism is undeniable. The raw talent is there for everyone to see. But the actual baseball results, the consistent production, the refined approach at the plate, those elements are still developing. It's almost like he's this incredible athlete who happens to play baseball, and now everyone's waiting for him to become a truly great baseball player who happens to be an incredible athlete. There's a massive difference between those two things. But that's exactly why Scott Boras turned down Cincinnati's offer, and that's exactly why the Dodgers should be circling like sharks in deep water. If De La Cruz puts it all together, If those physical gifts translate into MVP caliber performance over the next few years, his value will skyrocket beyond what the Reds offered. And here's the kicker that has Dodgers fans buzzing. Elly De La Cruz won't hit free agency until after the 2029 season. That's 3 years away, which seems like an eternity in the instant gratification world of sports. But this is where the Dodgers' master-level organizational planning comes into play. Los Angeles doesn't just think about next season or even the season after that. They think in decades. They construct rosters like architects design buildings, with every beam and support structure planned years in advance. And when you look at their current situation, the timeline for pursuing Elly De La Cruz lines up almost too perfectly to be coincidental. Mookie Betts, the Dodgers' current shortstop and one of the best players in baseball, has a contract that runs through the 2032 season. Betts has been magnificent at shortstop, bringing Gold Glove caliber defense to the position while maintaining his offensive excellence. But here's the reality. In 2030, Mookie Betts will be 37 years old. Now, Betts is a once-in-a-generation talent, a future Hall of Famer who takes care of his body and could absolutely still be productive at that age. But shortstop is one of the most physically demanding positions in baseball. The range required, the quick reactions, the diving stops, the pivot throws to first base, all of that takes a toll on the body, and Father Time is undefeated. By 2030, the Dodgers will likely need to start thinking about transitioning Betts to a less demanding position, maybe second base or the outfield, or perhaps even designated hitter if the National League still has that by then. Enter Elly De La Cruz. In 2030, when Betts might need to shift positions, De La Cruz will be 27 years old, theoretically entering the absolute prime of his career. If everything breaks right, if he continues developing and refining his approach, he could be one of the 5 best players in baseball by that point. And the Dodgers, with their seemingly unlimited financial resources and their reputation as a championship destination, would be perfectly positioned to make him the centerpiece of their next great team. But wait, there's more to this story, because 3 years is a long time to wait, and baseball doesn't operate on such predictable timelines. Here's where the plot thickens even further. Cincinnati is what you'd politely call a small market team. They don't have the Dodgers budget, they don't have their revenue streams, and historically they don't keep their superstars through free agency. It just doesn't happen. Players either leave in free agency, or more commonly, the Reds trade them away a year or two before they hit the open market to get something in return, rather than lose them for nothing. Look at what just happened with Freddie Peralta. The Brewers, another small market team, just traded him to the Mets because he was heading toward free agency, and Milwaukee didn't want to risk losing him for just a compensatory draft pick. That's the reality for teams that can't compete financially with the big boys. Now apply that logic to Elly De La Cruz and the Reds. If he has monster seasons in 2026 and 2027, putting up MVP-type numbers and proving that all that physical talent has fully materialized, do you really think the Reds are going to let him walk away for nothing in 2029? Or do you think they might start listening to trade offers in 2027 or 2028, trying to get maximum value before he leaves? That's where the Dodgers could swoop in even earlier than 2029. They could offer Cincinnati a package of top prospects and young major league talent that would be too good to pass up, acquiring De La Cruz 2 years before free agency and then extending him on their own terms. It would be the ultimate long game, the kind of strategic maneuvering that Andrew Friedman has made his trademark. The Dodgers wouldn't even need to wait for free agency. They could force the issue, make the Reds an offer they can't refuse, and lock up De La Cruz years before anyone expected. Of course, there are massive variables in play here. The collective bargaining agreement between Major League Baseball and the Players Association expires soon, and the new CBA could include provisions that limit what big market teams like the Dodgers can spend. There could be harder salary caps, more punitive luxury tax penalties, restrictions on contract deferrals like the ones that helped the Dodgers sign Shohei Ohtani and others. Baseball's economic landscape could look completely different in 2 or 3 years, potentially hampering the Dodgers' ability to throw unlimited money at every problem. Then there's the question of whether the Reds might actually up their offer significantly enough that even Scott Boras would have to seriously consider it. What if Cincinnati comes back with a 15-year, $400 million offer? Would Boras still say no? Probably, because that's who he is, but it's not impossible that the right number at the right time could change the equation. Baseball is unpredictable, and players sometimes take less money to stay where they're comfortable, especially if they love the city and the organization. And let's not forget about De La Cruz himself. He has to continue developing and improving. Those strikeout numbers need to come down. That batting average needs to climb. The power needs to remain consistent. He needs to prove that he's not just an athletic marvel, but a complete baseball player. If he plateaus or worse, regresses over the next couple of years, this entire conversation becomes moot. The hype could fade, the market for his services could cool, and suddenly the Dodgers might not even be interested anymore. But, if you're a Dodgers fan, you have to love where this story is heading. Your team just added Kyle Tucker, one of the best all-around players in baseball. They've got Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, and a roster that's built to compete for championships for the foreseeable future. And now, on the horizon, there's the tantalizing possibility of adding a 27-year-old superstar shortstop with Hall of Fame potential, right when your current shortstop might need to move to a less demanding position. It's almost too perfect. The fact that Scott Boras is involved makes this even more likely. Boras doesn't just get his clients paid, he gets them paid in all capital letters. He got Cody Bellinger a massive deal with the Yankees. He secured Ranger Suarez a lucrative contract with the Red Sox. He got Alex Bregman set up with the Cubs. Time and time again, Boras proves that he knows how to work the free agent market better than anyone in the business. And he always gets his clients to the team that offers the most money. More often than not, that team is the Dodgers or the Yankees. And given the Yankees' recent financial constraints and aging roster, the Dodgers might be the obvious choice. Think about the pitch the Dodgers could make to De La Cruz in 2029 or even earlier if a trade materializes. They'd offer him the biggest contract he's ever going to get, potentially something in the neighborhood of 12 years and $450 million or more. They'd surround him with all-stars and future Hall of Famers. They'd give him a chance to win multiple World Series championships. They'd market him globally, turning him into one of the faces of baseball, and they'd let him play shortstop in one of the most iconic stadiums in sports history, in the second biggest media market in the country, under the bright lights of Los Angeles. What young superstar wouldn't want that? The Dodgers have already proven they know how to win with international superstars. Shohei Ohtani is thriving in Los Angeles. Mookie Betts, who came over in a trade, has become the face of the franchise alongside Ohtani. Freddie Freeman won MVP and a World Series in his first seasons with the team. The Dodgers don't just acquire talent, they maximize it, surrounding players with the resources, coaching, and support they need to reach their absolute ceiling. If Elly De La Cruz has any what-if potential left to unlock, Los Angeles is exactly where he'd unlock it. This is the beauty of how the Dodgers operate. While other teams are scrambling to patch holes for next season, Los Angeles is already planning for 2030. While other franchises are worrying about their current roster, the Dodgers are mapping out succession plans for positions that won't need replacing for years. It's organizational excellence at the highest level, and it's why they've been consistently competitive for over a decade. It's why they keep making the playoffs year after year. It's why they win championships. And it's why Dodgers fans should be absolutely thrilled about the possibility, however distant, of Elly De La Cruz wearing Dodger blue. So here's the question for you. Would you want the Dodgers to pursue Elly De La Cruz when the opportunity presents itself? Is he worth the massive contract he'll command? Is the potential reward worth the risk of those high strikeout numbers? Does his elite athleticism and improving trajectory make him the perfect long-term successor to Mookie Betts at shortstop? Or would you rather the Dodgers spend that money elsewhere on pitching or other positions of need? The debate is fascinating because there's no clear right answer. De La Cruz could become a perennial MVP candidate, or he could be a good but not great player who never fully harnesses his physical gifts. But one thing is certain, the Los Angeles Dodgers are thinking about this right now. They're running the numbers, evaluating the timeline, considering the possibilities. Andrew Friedman and his front office are 3 steps ahead of everyone else. And if Ellie De La Cruz is part of their master plan, you better believe they'll make it happen when the time is right. The chess pieces are moving, the timelines are aligning, and Dodgers fans have every reason to be excited about what the future might hold. This is your chance to be part of the conversation, to weigh in on whether this should be the Dodgers' next big move. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Tell us if you're Team Ellie De La Cruz or if you think the Dodgers should look elsewhere. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the Dodgers' potential future plans, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another update. The hot stove is burning, the rumors are flying, and we'll be here covering every twist and turn. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next